Welcome to The Downside.
Wow.
My name's Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here
just
with
went
my
right in.
co-host Russell Daniels.
Hi, Gianmarco.
I went somewhere yesterday. There was a comic I saw, from way back. We did roast battles together.
Mhm.
We don't see each other very much.
Yeah.
And I was going to the laundromat, and she said, "Whoa, you look a lot better without your glasses." And I was like, "Okay, well, I just left them at home. Like they're a pretty permanent
You wear
fixture."
them a lot.
And then I swear, immediately she went, "Wow, gray in your beard. What's up with that?
Okay.
What's up with that? What's up with that?"
Well, my body is getting worse, and I'm olding.
It was,
you know?
it was incredible to be like negged twice so quickly right out the
Yeah.
gate, like immediate. And I was immediately like, I don't have the heart to say anything. That's not me.
Yeah.
But it really was rude. It really it hit right up against my.
Yeah. I had a boss one time on Zoom be like, "Oh, getting some gray," and I was like, "Oh, it is jarring because you're like, what purpose does it serve?" Because you're like, also, I have a mirror, like I can see that I get gray in my beard, like it's like a weird thing.
I have once. I told you once on Instagram, someone commented. They said, "Gray and beard, ew," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the worst anyone's ever been bullied on the internet in the history of time."
Yeah.
But
whenever anyone says something mean, I hate the impulse to look at their profile and be like, I want to know more about their life. Because why? What's that impulse? Do you know what I mean? But I always do it.
They suck too.
I know.
By the way, we're here with Chloe Troast. You can talk for this part. I'm sorry. I know.
I was just laughing.
Oh, good. That's
I
fine
don't need
too.
to talk.
We'll put that laugh right up to the mic so they can tell we're killing.
Just a whole episode of you just laughing and not contributing.
That's so good.
Yeah, you always look. Someone commented. I'm sorry. I know this shouldn't be the common thing, but I posted a montage of Downside clips, and they said, "I bought tickets to your comedy show in Portland. It's going to be my first comedy show, but based on these clips, it's probably your first too. Ha 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 ha."
What?
And I said, "What the? I don't understand."
Yeah,
I was more confused. You bought tickets to the show, nonetheless.
Yeah. Also, we're not doing stand up right now. It's a different thing. It's a different medium.
It was hard because I'm not in a place to turn down anyone coming to those Portland shows.
Yeah.
If I was, I would say, well, don't come then.
Yeah.
But I need these sales right now.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I need Portland sales.
Yeah?
I need Portland sales for the end of the summer. Big time.
Oh, you have a show in Portland?
Yeah.
You're torn.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Is this your first, is this your biggest tour? Your biggest on the road?
I would say the biggest and absolutely the first.
Yeah. Does it feel good? Is it fun?
Yeah, it is really fun. I'm doing something that's really not financially helpful, which is
SNL, we know.
Right, yes.
Yes.
Which is go on tour for 2 days of the weekend, then come back, and then another weekend.
That's how I do it normally.
Okay, that's how it always is.
I mean, some people do that 1-1-1-1-1, which I guess you can just make it a whole stretch, but that's tough.
Nobody does that.
It depends what you want. No, people do it. It's just I need to recoup. I need to write down some notes.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Asmus, I admire. I mean, he's just doing one after the other, but I swear he's going to die sooner than me because of it.
Yeah.
So it depends when you want to die.
Right. Not for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What age? In your mind, are you like, because I'm like never. But some people are like, well, in my 70s, I'd be fine.
I know I'm going to die, and I know that I'm going to get to the point where I say I cannot wait.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to hear a dark story?
Yeah.
This is a Russell story.
Oh, God.
You had a friend who was a nurse.
Yeah.
And
oh, no, I know.
She said, a lot of old people, they go, I'm ready to go. And she said, and when the time comes, they're never ready to go.
I think about it every day. I think about it every day.
I will have to say, and this got dark really quick, but
this is the downside.
Yeah. This is right. Is that my grandmother passed away a couple years ago, sharp as a tack until she was 92.
Yeah.
And her whole life just sharp all the way there. Knew that she was going to die. Was aware. We couldn't really go into the room because it was COVID. She didn't die of COVID, but it was we had to talk to her through glass, and it was just brutal. So depressing. And then I was thinking I don't want to be all there by the end. Yeah,
I just saw a clip of Dick Van Dyke at 98, and he was like I mean, his 98 was a lot better than Biden's 81.
I will say. Sure.
Like it's like he's like it's just like wow, that guy's like, and but yeah, you're right, because like if you're like fully like aware, present thing, it's like it makes it. I don't know if it makes it worse for you. I'm sure it does, but it also makes it worse for everyone around you because they're like, oh man,
you want to be old enough that when you see the light, you're not constant to be like, oh, that's just the hospital light.
Yeah.
You want to be like, and there's Jesus.
Yeah, there I go.
And he's cool that I didn't pray at all until
like,
just now.
There's something you want out of like, you definitely want to be able to say she was ready. She was ready to go. She was fully cooked.
Yeah.
Whereas like, there's another version of it where they're just pleading not to.
Oh my God.
This is so mortifying. But I on a similar note, I did watch a man essentially collapse of drugs outside of the NFT gallery just now.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I believe it.
What are you doing here?
Go back.
No, is he doing okay?
I was running late.
You no, there were police around. I saw they had just arrested someone.
Every time Russell's
nearby.
like, you could make up a lie, or like the trains. You could have said, "I saw a collapsed man."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I remember coming to New York probably when I was like in high school. I'd come up on the summers with my dad, and we saw a guy in Washington Square Park with crows like walking on him, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is a dead man." And then we got close, and he was breathing. And I was like, "Oh, he'll be okay."
I do have to say, your street right here is like the most I feel like the old version of New York where I like the Rent version of New York.
Yeah.
Like where I'm like, oh wow, there's some stuff happening on this little strip right here.
Yeah.
You know, just from the train here, where I don't get to see all of that all the time in, you know, where I live, like way up. You know what I mean?
New York keeps you humble.
It does.
I mean, you understand how the world works. You see every class of person
you do
in New York.
In a block.
And especially this block. I mean, it was a moment seeing that person collapse in front of the NFT gallery.
Yeah.
And also let's
really
highlight
hammer in what the city's
an
about.
NFT gallery.
Yes,
An
no,
NFT
that's what I'm
NFT
saying.
gallery. It's
an oxymoron, right? Is that the word
Sure.
I'm looking for?
Yeah.
I still don't really understand NFTs, but no one explained it to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not asking for anyone to explain it to me, but I don't fully get it. But don't explain it to me.
This is the downside.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
Welcome to the downside. This is a place where we talk about cancel culture. Has it gone too far?
Oh my God.
And I love a Norm Macdonald show. He would have his co-host would ask people. He'd say, "Hey, so I want to ask you a question. I've been thinking about this a lot." David Letterman. Where do you get your ideas from? And I just love the idea of a question that people just go like, what the fuck are you doing right now? So for those of you listening for the first time, just because Chloe's here, this is a place where we complain, get negative. Don't have to pretend everything's going right. It's going wrong. It's going wrong. I'm sure we will experience some form of civil war in our lifetimes. And that's why we're cranking out these episodes before that happens.
Oh my God. But we can still record during the Civil War, I think. I mean, we'll be on the same side.
Not our editors.
Oh, our editors are going to be on the other side?
Editors.
The podcast will just be a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we
It'd
don't
be funny if
edit
editors
this.
are like farmers, where it's like all. Listen, you want your podcast edited? You gotta support Trump. If you're a fan of the show, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. Bonus episodes, our live episodes. We're going on tour. My comedy special, The Rats Are in Me.
When does this come out?
Patreon.com/downside. This episode is coming out July 2nd.
Okay, you still have time to get our tour tickets.
And fireworks for the 4th.
Yes.
Do you like to do the 4th? Are you American flag shirt?
I'm more there for the vibes.
Yeah.
For barbecue bikinis.
Yeah, who's not there for the vibes on July 4th, you know?
Sure.
You know?
I'm a little tired of fireworks.
Yeah.
I've truly lived them out.
I think going to like watch fireworks, I don't know I would never do that. But if I'm at a place, like if I'm on a rooftop and there happens to be fireworks, I think that's nice.
I think small fireworks are so much more fun. When I was a kid, I lived in Maryland, West Virginia, it was legal.
Yes.
And like those are really cool. You put them in your backyard.
Yeah.
And it's just, they have all different kinds and they're different.
Oh,
they
I don't want to
spin
be
and
anywhere
they-
near them.
I was no part of this really, but for New Year's, the big party New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys didn't really react.
We're,
to
yeah,
New
yeah,
Year's
yeah,
Eve.
yeah. I've been to one.
Yeah, my someone brought crazy fireworks and set them off like on top of the apartment, like on the roof that we were all at, like 10 feet away from all of us.
Oh, that's
my
scary.
God.
On a roof.
Totally freaky, scary, like like completely dangerous.
Very.
I don't even know like if I could get in trouble for saying that I was a part of that, but
I think you're okay, but I think I had an experience once too at a July 4th lake party where they were setting them off down the thing and the thing tipped over and it was like a hill. We were all watching and it tipped over. So they were firing into the crowd of people and it was a mass of people screaming, running, crying, children everywhere and just like sparks going everywhere. It was so scary.
Were they hurt?
No one got hurt seriously, but it was scary. I mean, it was like one set of things. So it happened and then it was done.
Have you ever seen a fire when a fireworks warehouse catches on fire and it's a big explosion
I
and
bet.
it's very cool.
you've seen that?
Yeah, not in person. Like there's a video.
You've sought it out.
Like CCTV, like you kind of see it.
Oh, but that's all in black and white.
Sure. Well, let's make it
I
happen.
want to see all the
Yeah.
colors of the fireworks go off.
But my dad worked in a shock trauma unit, so he was every time.
Oh my
he
God.
did it probably when he was like 21, 22, but told the stories for years and years and years. It sounds very, very traumatic.
Yeah.
He talked about a lot of people coming in with no hands.
Yeah.
My brother almost lost his hand in a firework.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It did the same thing. The firework went the opposite way. Like, it was supposed to go this way and then it actually
Shot
went
back.
out here.
Oh my God.
But my older brother is definitely the kind that's like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the thrill is that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The near death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not me.
Um,
Keep them away from me.
Chloe, when I went to look you up, on YouTube,
am.
I believe it's your mom has posted a lot of your theater shows.
Yeah,
Like,
we have
quite a lot.
not figured out how to take that down.
I
Wait,
mean, almost
you-
the full
I would
production of
never-
Peter Pan is up there.
I would never think to go to YouTube to look someone up.
You've never looked up a guest in your entire goddamn life. I'm not interested in your research
No.
perspective.
I just think that's incredible. I would never think that's where I would look her up.
Well, you never know where people are going to express the most truthfulness about this. Sometimes
Okay.
people do it on podcasts. Sometimes people do it through stand-up. Sometimes people do it
I
through
see.
tweets.
I see.
You know?
Yeah.
I went way back in the tweet vault.
For me?
Yeah.
No.
You stopped tweeting in 2023. I know that for sure. If you go real back, because you could see the real person before they learned how to like hide the things and
Yeah.
not express all the opinions.
Hey, you gotta.
I think you had one tweet that said, "I washed my feet in cum." Definitely had something, and not that far back.
I thought you were gonna do a bit.
Oh my God. I wash my feet in cum, period.
I had maybe exclamation point. I'm not sure.
Question mark.
I want to make sure that I'm
Wait,
right.
I wash my
Oh,
feet in cum? That's why they're
Yeah,
sticky.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you're it's not easy to find. Do you remember your handle?
Yeah, at French Troast.
At French Toast. So you were a real theater kid.
Yeah.
You got to watch this Peter Pan. It's so funny because they all have the strings
Yeah.
and
Oh, you flew.
they flew.
Were you Peter Pan?
Peter Pan, of course.
You got a voice.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I was
Yeah, yeah,
Peter.
And it's like it's cool the first time, and then everyone, it's just the range of motion is just gonna be kind of like this.
I mean,
And
yeah.
then you go back down, and then they all do it.
Oh. Yeah.
Advance for what was that, middle school?
It was a children's theater group. So the Saddle River Youth Theater.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason the Saddle River Youth Theater was in Allendale, not in Saddle River. Can't explain that. But they got there's a place that you rent, and you rent the people too who rig it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you rent the people and the cables, and you get strapped up. I mean, it is really barbaric. Like, it might look No, it doesn't even look good. It looks fine. We're flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But-
listen, you're definitely flying.
You're definitely off the ground.
It's not. Listen, it's not terrible.
No.
It's not fantastic. The cable is thick.
I wasn't, just so you know, I wasn't like, oh my God, how are they flying right now?
Yeah, and the thing is you get strapped into something that, like, what I assume people get strapped into for, like, jumping out of planes.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
it's like a band that goes groin,
Uh-huh.
back, like, chest.
They're not fucking around. They
Yeah.
can't drop you guys.
No, they can't be. I mean, no. Yeah, then no more Peter Pan in any of the tri-state area.
Yes, Peter Pan, like Spider-Man the musical. Remember all the injuries?
Oh,
Like if
yeah,
there was
yeah.
some level of children's theater where
Yeah.
there were that many injuries.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that they actually have.
Have you ever
because-
seen the bloopers of Peter Pan middle school productions or whatever?
where they, yeah,
Oh my God, they're the funniest
they're
thing
so
in the
funny.
world.
they're like hitting windows,
Flying into the window.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just and then like they go back and again and
Yeah.
again.
When I was a little kid, there was that old version of Peter Pan the musical. You know, like it's a staged version from like the, I don't know, 60s or
We've
something.
been filmed
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the woman who did
Yeah.
it like forever.
Yeah,
Mary
yeah.
Murphy.
Yeah, she's blonde,
something.
short hair.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
That's what it is.
Isn't it Mary?
Mary,
Murphy?
there's
Mary
definitely two
Murphy.
M's.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Carrie.
Definitely a Mary. is
You're
right.
right. You're right.
And I remember one of my parents' friends, like I was like 5, and one of my parents' friends was watching it and making fun that they could see the strings. And I remember having like, as a 5-year-old, being like, "Yeah, I'm not a fucking idiot. I know it's a string, but I can still have an imagination." I was so mad at that like an adult making fun that they could see the strings. I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not an idiot. Like I can see it. Like I'm
Yeah.
5 and I'm able to suspend my disbelief and still
Yeah.
enjoy this piece of art."
That's when you know that you're going to be somebody that like just totally loves theater.
Yeah.
Is when you can just suspend your disbelief like at the drop of a hat.
Well, that's what Tova, my girlfriend, I think because she didn't grow up with a theater tradition, sometimes she won't get past that first level of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially with musicals, like there's like I think there's a degree of like, why do they keep rhyming? And I want to be
Yeah.
like. Meanwhile, you know, some old man goes up and goes, "I'm the Messiah," and you know she believes that, but somehow the musical is too hard to digest. October 4th, 2022. Sometimes I wash my feet with cum. And then your second tweet was reply, please.
I can't even believe that I said that. I can't believe
That's-
that I said
Yeah,
that.
that sounds like
That's
2022. You know,
disgusting.
that was going around. then.
2022.
Yeah.
That like, you'd think I'd remember. Like, that's 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I think the SNL Twitter account should retweet just a couple old tweets just to fuck with you guys. Be like, it's still here.
I would bet that got less than 10 likes.
It got 17.
Really?
Wow.
17 likes.
So that was actually kind of good for me then.
Yeah, and of course someone said something gross.
Too gross for
Oh my God.
even what that the content of that was.
Yeah, I mean, just mean.
Oh.
Just some guys.
Oh, guys.
Some guys.
Oh, guy stuff.
You're a disgrace.
Oh my God.
Please quit comedy. Thank God you didn't see that one.
You are.
And that was like, and by the way, the please quit comedy was 2 months later.
No.
Someone said this is the best tweet ever quote.
You are a disgrace. That is.
There's been some crazy, like when I was not, this can be, when I was not like doing anything special, really, getting 17 likes on tweets. I remember there was a couple guys, they had to have been guys that trolled me in an insane way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they would be commenting on a lot of my stuff, like Jim-Carrey-ass-lookin-motherfucker. And I'd be like, it was like a pretty picture of me. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like, you're funny
You
and
weren't
crazy
doing, like,
looking. I was like,
The Mask. Yeah.
And Jim Carrey,
not a bad looking.
Not a bad looking
No,
guy.
when he was, especially when he was younger. There's sometimes you see some of those guys you go younger. You're like, oh, you were gorgeous. Jim
Well,
Carrey was a beautiful.
He was a beautiful man, but he was like Ace Ventura.
Sure.
Not like, I think that they weren't like,
they were like Jim Carrey, like on a good photo shoot
Yeah.
day. It was like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey when he comes out of the rhinoceros's asshole.
Wait,
like
and so
just
these
the most amount of faces that you can make, like rubber face.
and these are like the same like people. Like you had a handful of the same
yeah,
kind
they were like some similar people, and then they would DM me like you look like you smell.
Oh my
Like
God.
stuff like that.
Sure.
Where it was just like, oh man, this person like really hates me.
I got called smelly once by many people because of an interaction with The Rock. And it doesn't hurt. The Rock, there was some interview, he says he showers 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I quote tweeted, not him, just an article, something about like that's crazy, but I had a funny line. And then suddenly this tweet started getting all this like replies or whatever. And I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And The Rock had replied to it.
No.
And he was like doing his thing where he was like,
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
I just showered because I have a lot of responsibilities. I hope you are well. Take care of yourself. Like, like a really passive aggressive thing.
Yeah.
And then I was nervous. A lot of followers The Rock has. And I wrote back because we went to the same college and he saw me in Hello, Dolly.
Really?
And so I wrote back a very full-on groveling mea culpa. I'm just joking, brother.
Think of
You
me for
don't
your
have to
next
do
project.
that.
Think of me for your next project.
Think of your next
you
project.
don't have to grovel at.
The Rock.
But I wanted him to do the pod.
No.
He'd be a bad guest.
That
And also, he would never do the pod.
that'd be so crazy.
I disagree.
Not never.
Not never. We'd have
But
to get some
not
more
at-
listeners for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe after this episode.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
Have you
I'm
met him
doing
yet?
numbers.
You met The Rock?
No, I haven't met The Rock.
That'd be cool.
Does
But
he go by
he's-
The Rock like in
Dwayne, I'm sure.
Dwayne?
If
Yeah.
you're going up to him, what are you saying?
Mr. Dwayne Johnson? Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
Very formal.
He isn't he like the biggest celebrity in the world?
He's definitely
Up there.
I mean, I think Oprah.
Well, I don't mean I mean literally like quantum.
Oh.
Like I think he's like the most highly paid. I'm getting a nod.
Oh.
Well, because in
Our
China, like
producer
his,
didn't look it up. He just said he thinks so.
He's a huge rock fan.
I think he is like literally like because in
of China?
China he is so popular
Sure.
in his movies
Hmm.
that he is like the wealthiest, most successful
Oh my God.
actor.
Yeah.
Which I mean, and then you understand why there was like a television show about his life. You know, like Little Rock or something.
Little Rock,
I
and that guy-
auditioned
I wish-
for it once.
Oh, you did? Who you auditioned for?
Not a regular person.
The
just
Rock.
Well, what,
you
like,
know,
what was
The
it a
Rock.
wrestler?
Someone in that
How
world.
can you, it's a huge. I know wrestlers, especially that era.
I don't remember
You
the
do-
thing. I mean, it was so long ago.
yeah,
I didn't get it. You know, I didn't even come close.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Are
He's
you
crazy.
are you really over? For people who don't know, Chloe's on Saturday Night Live.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! I've been
What's
to two.
up
I've
with
been
that?
to 2 parties.
You said that. You dropped
I
that
did say
earlier.
that. Well, it wasn't didn't even mean it for it to be. What's
Yeah.
up with that?
Oh yeah.
And then it kind of was.
Yeah.
And I thought about leaning into it, and then I said, you know,
I was gonna go ooh wee,
I mean, that would have been
Yeah.
a big moment for us.
but I wasn't sure if
could
I
we
should
get a
talk
clean
yet.
right now?
Yeah.
All right. Ooh wee.
Perfect. We will.
I thought
clip
you were
it
going
in
to say,
there.
what's up with that?
Oh, okay, go again.
Oh, okay. Ooh wee.
What's up with that?
Wow.
What's up with that? Cool.
You hear that? Keenan?
He'll be happy I did
Yeah.
that.
Have you become, because I saw you at one party. I've seen you at 2, or I've been to 2 parties. And one, it was just very funny because I saw you very much like you're ready to go home. You were done with work.
Yeah.
And are you completely over? Do you still get starstruck by anyone, or is it done?
Oh,
Have you become numb to see? You're like, I see.
I don't think I'm numb at all. I feel like I have that moment probably on a Sunday after the week is over and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
That's that person. That's
Sure.
that person that I know. But I feel like maybe the exhaustion kind of takes over and like everyone is just really like an old, exhausted person at the end of the day in those halls where it's just like, oh yeah, hey.
Yeah.
What's the peak day of? Oh my God, I need to go to sleep.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people would say Tuesday just because it's like you write all night.
Uh-huh.
Or like, you know, you get there kind of early, you try and make sure you plan your ideas, and then you just write for a really long time, different stuff with people until
Yeah.
like the wee hours. But honestly, after that, then you wake up early on Wednesday and you edit stuff, and then there's a table read of like 40 sketches that
Yeah.
you read for hours and hours and hours. And you're nervous and you're high. It's high energy, highs and
Yeah.
lows, like a
Yeah.
lot. And then afterwards, we wait for probably an hour or an hour and a half, and then script picks comes out. And then if your sketch gets picked, then you work on like, the set and the costumes and whatever. Like you tell the people who are the head of each of those departments what you want your sketch to look like, and
Yeah.
et cetera. And then you go home. And that's the day where I'm like, I need a drink and I
Sure.
need to go to bed.
Yeah, that's
I
a
need-
big from Tuesday to end of Wednesday is a lot.
So
feels
yeah,
like.
like come Wednesday morning, like you're already kind of exhausted. So Wednesday night, I feel like is the night that is just like, I cannot wait. Because it's also, there's high emotional energy the whole
Yeah.
day of like, I'm nervous to do my thing. I'm about to shoot out of a cannon with a crazy idea. And it's like,
Yeah.
it could be a success or it could like totally bomb.
Oh.
And
Tell me,
then-
because we've
Yeah.
all seen
seen
the
that
James Franco
documentary.
documentary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's very stressful.
Please, nothing about how innocent he is, Russell. And there's a moment there's a moment where Casey Wilson has to basically do a scene with singing,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
she's got to do it to the
And
end.
a brilliant
Yeah.
And
Casey
it's
Wilson
so-
is
Casey Wilson is a
brilliant. She's so
genius.
funny.
She's so funny.
But like it's such a it's so real that it's like one of those things you're like, oh man, that feeling of like, God, that I don't envy.
Yeah.
May I
that
ask,
sort of-
is it randomized? Are you could be in the first sketch, or are you like at the bottom of the sketches?
So they usually arrange them. They arrange them very meticulously. And with that being said, I am often very late in
They meticulously put you last or second to last.
which is always like really tough.
Yeah.
How long is a session, by the
No,
way?
because you're
do you
reading
mean
like
a section?
60,
Like
50, 60 sketches,
all
right?
these 40, yeah.
So there's 20, we read 20, and then we have like 10, 15-minute break, and then we read 20 more.
Oof.
How long?
and
Jesus Christ.
Hours. It's hours,
Oh.
and everyone is, it's like you got to poop your pants before, and then that kind of doesn't end until after. Like that just kind of energy that's just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually the first couple sketches are a mixture of like something that's kind of could be a cold open
Sure.
of
Yeah.
sorts, either like a political thing or like a sports broadcast thing about, I don't know, football, whatever. Just usually like a group kind of piece that's like, oh, this is a could be a cold open type thing. And then right after that is the monologue, like the
Mhm.
first draft of the monologue.
Sure.
And there's certain things that we clap for at the table, like before, like Lauren reads all the stage directions and he'll go, like home base, Emma Stone, da, 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 da.
Uh-huh.
And then we clap at the table and she's like, hey everybody, I'm Emma Stone. And then she starts the thing.
Yeah.
And then we clap after the monologue is over. So there's like a lot of energy at the beginning of
Yeah.
like, we're starting
Built-in
the-
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and I love built-in energy. If that's something
It's
you need to know
helpful.
about
Sure.
me,
It's
helpful.
I love built-in energy.
Yeah.
I do a lot of music on the show. Not all of my sketches that I bring to table are music, and some of them are just regular plain ass sketches. But when I do write a music piece, me and this writer at the show, Mike DiCenzo,
Mhm.
we call him Deech, and he we wrote this sketch for Wig Week that was really silly and stupid and super fun, but we didn't start writing it until like 1 a.m. because
Yeah.
we were
Mhm.
like ditching other ideas, and then we started writing this one, and it was like cracking us up in the middle of the night, kind of crack you up
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And we're like, well, this could be anything. Like the whole night after that, we were like, it could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be anything. And then the whole day after like editing and we were like, oh, what could this be? And then we made up a thing because at the end of each half,
Mhm.
everyone claps, and then like it's either break or we're done.
Yeah.
And so usually they put music pieces at the end of
Oh.
half, and so we go #gotta clap.
Yeah.
So it's like even
Yeah.
if whatever happens,
Yeah.
there is never the deafening silence that sometimes happens after like a weird bomb or something. It's just a
Yeah.
hashtag gotta clap.
Yeah.
So
And they didn't do over. They didn't do over. Like, just be clear, this is just because it's the end,
No.
not for that.
Yeah. Now with the music ones, like you have that obviously that one this season was amazing. The Orphan.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
so funny. With writing the like music part of it, is that you like because I know there's a like obviously there's a music department. How does that work in terms of like because that would be the fear of like we have to write this tonight and we have to write the music for it and like 'cause then you're gonna have to perform like how does
The
that
next day,
work at the next
So I pretty much wrote all the music for that sketch. Just like on Tuesday, I was sort of fiddling with a melody like earlier on Tuesday of how to like fit in the content, and I'm like, you know, whatever the melody is going to be, and then Eli is our music director there, and he's just the best. He's been there for so many years, and he's been the music director for like some songs that you're like, oh fuck, that's awesome. You know, like the Comeback Barack, the like Dick in a Box, like just like all these kinds of things. And so, you know, you knock on his door and you're like, hey, I have a music thing. And he's like, sweet. Or maybe he'll come knock. Usually he's like, music thing this week, you know, like I do like a lot. And then he was like, I was like, so this is what it is, whatever. And I think it's kind of like a Michael McDonald kind of like thing, whatever. And Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel helped write that sketch with me. And they hadn't seen, like I wrote a first draft of it and sent it off to them, and they have a million stuff to do because Streeter is like a head writer and whatever. And so they just saw the script and they never heard the song. And they kind of assumed it was just like a pretty little song of like an Annie type, like, oh, na, what's so wrong with me? And I was like, and when we got there for, so I worked on the music with Eli, and then I worked on the script with Streeter and Mikey, and they kind of didn't cross paths until we got to table, and I'm sure that I don't know when it was during table, but I'm sure it was second half, like bottom of the ninth kind of thing. And I remember before that, Mikey was like, you know, me and Streeter, like, you know, we kind of we bomb all the time, so it's like, you know, nothing to be afraid of, and like whatever, like
always a good feeling.
It was like, but it was like in the sweetest way that he could have said, being like, nothing matters, dude. Like this is great. Like this is really funny. Like, and it was my first really like big thing at table that had any kind of singing. I had done another thing like the first week that was very fun too, but it had no singing, so nobody really like knew about that element. And so then when I started singing the song, when Mikey sits next to me at table, he was like he just didn't know what the song sounded like at all, and I think that like everyone was kind of elated by the difference, just like the juxtaposition of the tone of it and then what the song sounded like. And so it was cool that I was working on it with two kind of groups of people, and then they all finally heard it at the same time as I was doing it. And so it's as crazy and chaotic as that, is like, oh, you'll see when like
and
when
could
we
you
get
feel
there.
it at the table? You're like, fuck yeah, this is gonna be a banger.
I would say at the first moment I did that, like started singing and everyone got really excited. I was like, this is so cool. This is like epically cool. Like I will not ever forget this feeling. And everyone was just like so fucking cool. Like during it and after that, they were like, you can sing. And then kind of like gears started turning for people, I think, in a way, because I hadn't done, and not a lot of the people watch the auditions. So they don't know really what you're coming at it with, you know, like they don't know your angle right away. So
have you worked on your "We Miss You Biden" song for after the election?
I'm really gunning for "Comeback Biden."
Comeback Biden.
Come back to life, Biden.
You were always, I mean, you were singing at such a young age. Um, did you ever almost go into the musical theater life?
I always thought that I was gonna do that.
Do you still want? Is there a party who wants to be a Broadway?
I think that was like the biggest sort of childhood dream.
You're probably able to
Dream
do it.
show?
You'll be able to do it now. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you did it.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like you, like I feel
now
like
that you-
now
now
you're like
Close.
You can
Closer.
you can do it. You know what I mean? Like because like you do, you're on SNL, and I feel like that it's a perfect thing of like, oh, everyone knows you can sing really well now, and like
I'm trying to think though, what SNL person has like gone like directly to a Broadway?
But I mean,
Usually
Anna
later.
Gasteyer did Wicked.
What's his name?
after.
Did Hamilton?
Alex Moffat just did.
Alex Moffat just did. Yeah.
that. I mean, it definitely was. I like the only kind of dream as a kid was like, oh, it's like it's Broadway. Like I've only did a million like children's theater shows growing up. Like my mom just kind of like carting me, between like like school and play rehearsal, just like kind of constantly.
Was she just love theater? She just understood?
Yeah, she's a huge fan, and
And her YouTube channel is just you. None of her.
yeah. I mean, my mom is not I'm burping from this drink.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is an interesting drink. It really tastes like turmeric.
It really does. Yeah.
Like I was like trying to figure out, I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that taste? It's like, it's
a spice.
heavy turmeric.
Yeah.
It's a spice. It's
Yeah.
a spice. When
It's
you
a
drink
spice
something
drink.
that tastes like a spice.
Yeah.
It's
It's a wet
jar-
spice.
It really is. It's like a curry in your mouth.
Yeah.
You're drinking sort of a sweet
Yeah.
tonic
Holy
curry.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got them for free, and I never drank them.
I have one a day
You have
when
one
I'm
a
here
day.
because I'm like, whoa, why
I
not?
don't
when
not
Rome-
like it. It feels
he hasn't
very
slept
healthy.
for weeks. He's a mess.
What? Yeah, you kind of you wonder. Like, I guess it's good. I guess it's good for me.
16,000% of the B12 that you're like your daily intake of
That
B12.
can't be good.
I don't know, but I don't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should never.
6,000.
You should never be having more than 100%.
But they do that a lot with B12 things to give you like,
What would be the point of having more than 100?
I don't
Exactly.
take it up with big B12. I don't
People
know.
do that with vitamin C too. They're like, I'm sick. I'll have 13,000% vitamin
Yeah.
C. Like
Well,
that's the cure.
You know
the
that's
cure.
Emergency.
That's defunct. That's
Oh yeah.
debunked
Don't
because
I know it? But
'cause of
everyone still
scurvy.
recommends it.
you know why? Because it's scurvy.
Wait, what?
That's
so
how they built it.
vitamin C
I shouldn't be
was
taking
given.
those packets?
No, they don't
No,
do
they're good.
anything.
Well, they're okay because they're actually laden with lots of vitamins. It's not just vitamin C, but they advertise it as it's vitamin C packed. But really, what you want is just like nutrients and vitamins.
And it's
when
not
you're
going to
sick.
help the cold that you have.
It's just going to help you.
It might make you slightly healthier.
Mentally, when I
You're-
was doing shows, I was like I would have one a day.
That's
being like-
good.
Being like, it helped my mental, like,
I
I
think-
feel like I was doing something healthy.
Well, that's good because it's hydrating
Yeah.
and it's got vitamins, which is something that you need.
Yeah.
And then, but the vitamin C, you guys both
we're
shifted
leaving.
at the same
We're-
time. That was crazy.
We're outta here.
Wait, what the fuck? It was like a part of
So
the
she
Truman
brings up-
Show.
she
Like
brings up
everyone
vitamins one more
changes at the
time.
same time.
Emergency.
Oh my god, that kind of was like freaky. All right.
Did you ever?
Oh wait, but I want to say
yes.
the scurvy thing.
The
Yeah.
scurvy, please.
Yeah.
So apparently vitamin C is a cure for scurvy because you can't get vitamin C when you were like on the seas.
Yes.
So you would get this sickness called scurvy, and so they just kept supplying people like, oh, if you're sick, it's probably scurvy.
Mm.
You need
Uh-huh.
vitamin C,
Sure.
and then that kind of caught fire. And look, it's 2024. I think we've been far away from scurvy for a long time, and yet here we are. Like things just being like
Yeah.
emergency,
C.
energy,
Yeah.
I get it. When you're sick, you're like, please, could someone make this go away faster? And
Yeah.
you'll do
Yeah.
anything, but none of it helps.
Yeah.
Only your body can deal with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you had any? Because singing on a live TV is very stressful. Have
Very
you lost your
stressful.
voice at all? Have you had any? Have you ever thought, oh, I need the steroid shot. I need the thing.
Yes. Well, I was
Because late nights too, and like the
Yeah.
hours.
Brutal.
I was really sick. Well, I was tipping into illness right at the end of like the first half before Christmas.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And I knew I had to sing a little bit, and it ended up being fine. But then right when I got off the show, it for Christmas break, my body just just disintegrated into nothingness. I couldn't like move. I was so fatigued. It was hard to like lift my limbs.
Sure.
I was like, I was getting achy, like the wrist. Yeah, you ever get the wrist thing when you have a fever, where it's like if someone touches your wrist, it like hurts you.
I haven't had that, but I know.
Immediately,
my skin always hurts. My skin is
Really?
It's always my
hurts.
skin. It's very. I think I have sensitive skin.
Interesting. I know that feeling though of like because I did shows for a while, and anytime I had like a scheduled vacation, I would be sick for my vacation because I would be
because your body unloads.
But you're like just keep doing it. You gotta get these 8 shows a week, and then and then I'd be sick.
And it just pushes it off until I think it's just like adrenaline and stuff, which is like that's actually how it works. Is that adrenaline like keeps you going, and then when the adrenaline kind of stops, your body kind of unleashes all. It just becomes sick, and But then after that week of like feeling like crazy, I ended up getting these crazy full body hives for like 8 more days.
Oh my God.
That were so deeply debilitating. I was on like steroids and Benadryl and allergy
Whole
medicine.
body?
Whole body. So they would like flare up onto my legs, like all over my legs, where it felt like burning and itching at the same time, where I was like,
was it a sickness thing or like a stress? Like, because sometimes
I think it was both. Like,
Yeah.
I think hives, they diagnosed me with post-viral or post-infectious hives, which happens after. Yeah, so just for the next time you're sick, this could absolutely happen to you.
Oh my God.
Especially if you're kind of running on empty, boys. And I know how often you do this, pod. If your body is depleted, just maybe do take those packets because it was really bad. It was really bad. And actually it just ended kind of on New Year's Eve, sort of when those fireworks, like that day I had just a little bit left, some of my face a little bit, it was sort of going down at that point. And I remember because I was sober for New Year's, which is rare for me. And I was just like watching everyone kind of really dangerously put up fireworks and was like, I'm not gonna be mommy.
Yeah.
And it I remember that. Those two memories kind of collide in my head because I was very ill.
When you so you did this children's theater growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Then where'd you go to high school? Jersey?
Yeah. I went to my public high school, Northern Highlands.
Good theater program?
Well, so that's interesting. Yes, they do have a great theater program, but I ended up actually doing theater at the all-boys Catholic school that was kind of nearby because they had like summer shows that I would do.
Okay.
And I ended up being really close with a lot of people that worked in that department and stuff. And any girl from the surrounding areas could audition for the all boys school. So like it would be mostly girls from the all girls school so that they switch on and off. But then also a lot of girls from like public schools that were like, I like this program. It was really big. Fantastic.
Was there a lot of, because I went to a co-ed high school.
Yeah.
And I just imagine any avenue where then you intermingle, there's got to be people hooking up. Got to be chaos.
Yeah.
You never have any girl, you never have any boys, and then suddenly you're doing theater on top of it?
Are you asking?
It's got to be wild.
In high
was it a
school,
wild time?
Teenagers were having
people
sex.
hooking
But like theater, was it just a
In high school,
wild,
were
chaotic?
Teenagers,
If you never
yes.
had school to get it out,
Yeah.
how are you
that's
getting
true.
rehearsals
Well,
done?
I mean, that's like kind of and like, is your mic okay?
Yeah, my mic's okay. My headphones stopped.
Oh,
but
that's okay.
I don't need them.
Yeah, take them off. Hell, we don't need them. You can come on the side of me and we can share one. We're like singing like an amazing pop song in the 90s, like sharing a thing. That is actually a huge part of, I feel like, that program. It was St. Joe's high school theater.
St. Joe's?
St. Joe's.
Like St. Joseph?
Yeah.
But like his name wasn't Joe. I was
Joseph,
just like,
sorry, St. Joseph, but we
No.
always called it St.
Yeah,
Joe.
people
Sure,
call
that
it
was it.
St.
I just felt
Joe's,
like for
yeah.
a second was it
Yeah.
like Saint,
Joe.
Maximus and
Yeah.
blah blah
Yeah.
blah Joe.
Joe. Well, like, I
Saint
guess
Joe.
I've never really thought about that. But
St.
we
Joey.
yeah, St.
Yeah, that's what it
Well,
sounded
St.
like. to
Joey,
me.
New
Yeah.
Jersey.
Joey.
Hey.
And there was a lot of those guys there too. A lot of Italian,
Really?
Catholic, a lot of Irish Catholic, a lot of Italian. But the program kind of, it really helped that girls were coming into the school.
Sure.
Any kind of girl, always fresh kind of new girls, and a lot of like more like jock type guys would audition and do the play because they were like, you can meet girls.
Maybe that's like, oh, you're going to basketball. What are you, gay?
Yeah.
What are you,
Yeah.
gay?
Yeah.
It's like you gotta at least do like one show. Cause like cause then we'd have like a cast parties and stuff.
Sure.
And like
Yeah.
there was like this crazy party that used to happen. I don't think it still does, but where it would be in like the ballroom of this hotel because it was so big. Like there was so many kids that did the program that they would like rent out a little ballroom to have our like end of the year St. Joe's Theater Department party or whatever. And it was in a hotel.
Oh,
And so
boy.
then all the kids would get hotel rooms.
Definitely.
I really hope my parents aren't watching, but or listening.
I hope your
whatever
mom
they do.
posts this on her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So wait,
But
the
it gets
hotel would say,
pretty
"Hey,
crazy.
15-year-old boy, here you go. Here's a hotel."
I think the parents would be
get
like,
room for
"Hey,
their
like,"
kids sometimes.
and it'd be like, "Oh, me and Casey are sharing a room here, but it got
Yeah.
a little stupid."
It's gotta be tough when you're a parent. You're just like, I know what
I
you're
know,
gonna do.
yeah.
I
but
know.
I want to be cool.
Yeah. Oh.
So people would
really
get
weird.
rooms
Yeah,
and they just stay the night there.
yeah, it was debauchery.
Anyone ever get in trouble? Like I'm
Oh,
sure there's
yeah.
drinking and
Oh yeah,
I had a strike. We did it at the school. You
You
slept
had a
over.
strike.
We after the show we called strike.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you meant
yeah,
like
yeah.
you
We're
went
not
on
putting on the
strike.
play.
We're not putting on a play unless
Until
you let
you-
us drink.
Yeah.
No, we would, but after the show, we would take down all the set and
Yes.
we'd, wrap around 3 or 4, and then we'd go into the common area. There'd be food, and we'd sleep over, and no one would be sleeping. And you
Wait,
would
you'd sleep over in the high school.
in the high school.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but I've had it where there's always drinking and pod and
Yeah,
edibles,
yeah.
and someone pulled the fire alarm this one year, and for the first time in forever, like everyone got in trouble. And ultimately, it resulted in me having a probation mark on my record.
Are you serious?
It was the worst. It was. I've told you a little bit
Yeah.
about this, but it was. It happened every year. Our school was a private school in DC, but it had been known as like the drug school for forever. There were teachers who were known to smoke pot when they were younger with their kids, so it was loose. They never was drinking and smoking. But this one year, this kid pulled the fire alarm. It triggered some kind of investigation. Some parents were determined to find out what happened. And gradually, they got all the seniors and juniors to like find out who brought the drugs, who brought the alcohol. And then it trickled down to the sophomores and freshmen. I was a sophomore. And by the way, this was like third time I'd ever gotten alcohol or third time I ever tried pot.
Yeah.
And they gathered us all in a room to like the head of the theater department, the freshmen and sophomores. They're like, we know what's happening, and we wanted to ask you guys, did you drink or smoke? And we had all convened before this. We were like,
course.
guys,
Nobody stitches.
no, but truly, nobody. It feels so. Looking back, I'm like, that's what we should have done. But instead, they went one by one, and this woman said no. This guy said, no, I didn't do anything. This one woman did a little too much. She said,
Woman. Why do you keep saying woman?
because I always feel weird saying girl.
Well,
This one
what?
little-
They were
this
now
one
I'm
little Sally.
confused. Now
Girl.
I'm saying
This
now I'm
one
seeing
little
this
girl.
like 30-year-old woman be like,
This
nah,
one
I
woman.
didn't drink.
So
This one broad over
this
here.
one chick over here, she did a little too much. She's like, I would never drink. I'm on ADHD medication that won't allow me to drink. And we're all like, shut up. And it goes one by one. It gets to me. I say no. The head of the tech department, he looks at me. He goes, no. And I'm like ignoring it. I'm buzzing inside my head, and it goes all the way to the end. And then this one girl earlier starts crying, and she goes, I actually did do it. And I was like, no. The walls are crumbling. And then she came forward, and then he came forward.
Yeah.
And everyone, And then I didn't in that moment because I was like, you don't have to do this. And then stupidly, and this is the big mistake I made, is I went to the theater teacher after and said something like, I was going to come forward, but I figured I'd tell you in person. And we all should have lied.
Yeah.
They had no proof on us.
Yeah.
No proof on us. But that being said, that night was one of the best nights of my, it was just like first time getting on an edible, first time drinking. I think there was a girl I had a crush on and I think I told her I love you. And then I like drowned out.
I mean, that's crazy.
And we dated like the next year. It was so cool.
It took her a year to get over. Like, I think he told me he loved me.
She had a boyfriend. And so I didn't make a move, but I just said like drunkenly, like, listen, I love you.
Oh my
God. I blacked out.
Wow.
I had a couple, I mean, yeah.
Tell us. I see a story of brewing.
There was, I mean, with an all boys school comes like a lot of boys who are desperate for female attention.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed, like, I was hanging out there all the time because I was in the musical, then I was in the play, then I was doing the summer stuff. So I was like, I was very involved. So was like all of my like girlfriends who were also in the program too.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, I became buddy. I like becoming buddies and with guys.
Sure.
And you know, I'll be chummy. And then you be chummy to a guy who like a girl never talked to. And then they like have a conniption kind of thing.
Sure.
And then
they tell you they love you on day one.
I did have a couple things, and like the people close, like my parents and stuff. We talk about this a lot still too, where it's like somebody bought me a Tiffany bracelet.
Whoa!
And like,
for high school, that's the top.
And somebody invited me to like Stations of the Cross, and then I didn't want to go, and then they were like, I was gonna ask you to prom there through this like or intricate thing that we were all gonna do at Stations of the Cross.
Feels like they got their answer in advance and they had to go through all the trouble.
Yeah.
You have to go because then I was gonna ask
then
you
I was
to go
gonna
to
ask you
another
to marry me.
What is Stations of the Cross?
Are you you're Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you grow up Catholic or anything?
No, what is that?
Okay, so Stations of the Cross is where it's like these.
It sounds stressful.
It all sounds like something you don't ask a gal to get to know.
Stations of the Cross. It really does feel. It sounds really scary, actually, but it's like these placard things on the wall that all depict. You know what I'm talking about.
It sounds loosely familiar.
Okay, so I keep going over to I keep
producer David.
Producer David. Yeah. There's these like placards on the wall of a church that depict like each sort of stage of Jesus, like carrying the cross up the hill, like running into Mary Magdalene, getting to the cross, like Pontius Pilate, like
he runs into her just on the street and she's like, Jesus, what are you carrying that for?
No, it's really that. Like it's like
He's
big
walking
group
down
of
the
people.
thing.
It's a big procession of people because he had so many devout followers that he like. And this is me as if I'm preaching, but I'm not. It's just like part of the history of it is that he's carrying the cross on his back, and then all these people are like, "Oh my God!" And then there's some people spitting at him, and some people throwing rocks at him, and then Mary Magdalene is there, and then he talks to her, and then there's other things that happen. There's 12 of them. There's like 12
stations. Yeah. Do you
There's
think
12 stations, and then it finally gets to the station where he gets nailed up there.
And do you think that's where he was going to propose the prom? Do you like? It's like it's not a
just like Jesus gets nailed to the cross. I'd like to nail you down for June 30th.
That would work. Which station would you pick? I think the Mary Magdalene one makes sense.
Yeah,
it's like,
she's a whore.
That's romantic.
Yeah.
Just like Mary Magdalene went down on men in the olden times, I'd like for you to get down to prom with me.
Let's respect the Catholicism a little.
Jesus and Mary.
That was a joke.
What?
I said let's respect the Catholicism for a little. And then I was nervous that you were like,
okay. Wait, Jesus and Mary, though, they just kind of like flirted. Right, they didn't ever.
How was it taught in the church? Because outside the church, we're like they were fucking, and she was a sex worker, and that's cool.
Well, in church, it's never really like specified as to what I guess their deeper relationship was, at least not to like a kid who was going to CCD.
Yeah.
Like they're you know, they talk about how she was a prostitute and he, you know, is like, bring me all your lepers and your sinful and the poor and whatever, and I will forgive them of their sins. And it was like, I guess it was more so of like, oh my God, even if you're a whore, you can change and be.
But then did she ever
nice.
go like, no more whore? Was she, I mean, if anything, she probably got all those guys there and it was like, hey, I can make a lot of
12.
money.
Yeah.
There's 12 guys.
12.
12.
Sure.
Yeah.
She had a blast.
Jesus' body wasn't the only thing getting
Yeah, it is.
eaten.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think it's like, I feel like just from the out, I didn't go to church a lot, but I felt like the kind of, they want us to be like, they were into each other, but nothing happened because that would be bad.
Did they
but
really
also,
say that?
I mean,
What
maybe
kind
it's
of
just the
church did you go
depiction
to?
of like, the depiction. Maybe I'm thinking of like musicals, like Jesus Christ Superstar. Like she likes him in Jesus Christ Superstar, right? Like
Jesus Christ Superstar, there's clearly sexual.
Yeah.
I feel like they fuck in Jesus Christ Superstar. They certainly do the feet washing. Whose feet are you washing that you're not also doing other
Wash
things?
my feet and
That's
come?
true. Wash my feet and come? Mary Magdalene?
If
I really am married.
if my girlfriend, if I said, oh, we didn't do anything, honey, I just washed her
She
feet.
just washed my feet. Yeah.
She washed my feet. I guess I put myself in the feminine position automatically.
That is really, that's.
She just washed my feet.
It's just
That's
bottoming.
so intimate.
Bottoming.
Yeah.
All the way. Why would someone bring you, when someone brings you to the stations though, is this a thing you do with on a date? You'd
Or
say,
that,
let's
just that
go?
guy.
Was it a new
It
one?
was just that guy, I think. Well, that guy was like a singer and was like singing at it. Like, it wasn't my steez.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I like went. I actually sang at church every Sunday by myself at the 6 p.m. mass.
Wow.
From when I was 13 to when I was 18, and I left for college.
What style? Are we talking like a little poppy or was it like choral?
It was like a mix of both a little bit. It was a 6 p.m. mass, so it was a little more casual.
Uh-huh.
And so the person who was like the music director person, he played just regular piano, not an organ, and then sometimes would play guitar. So it was like, I never wanted it to be, when I was doing it, I was like, I'm going to try and just do this kind of straight. I didn't want to really put a lot of flair on it because my church was like very like Catholic, like people were, I think they would have been really rattled by hearing a riff.
Sure.
Like it would have been really shocking because all the music at my church was like, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor to you forever. You know when they hit the note that's just like, it really
They finally
cuts
get
you.
to it. Yeah.
It's kind of rough when they do forever, or like Jews have that, like they have a little note change, and that's the most.
Oh, I know what you mean. Where it's like he, like that kind of.
Yeah, Jews. I'm trying to think if I can recreate the Jew one. It's gonna listen.
God.
You really
Just to
started
reiterate,
low.
please put it on the screen. I'm Jewish as we do this. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Why?
I can't
Best not.
You were
musically.
just doing
I
it.
can't like literally impressions
Are you a
of
singer?
anything. I used
He's
to
a
be.
singer. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a singer. You can do it.
But I can't. Like if you tell me like speak a gibberish Italian, like gibberish, like just recreate kind of this house. I literally cannot.
Fa
Do it.
Napoli. You know, like that.
Yeah, I'll eventually go.
Monopoly?
And then I will say spaghetti. I can't do impressions.
Yeah.
You do-
Bridaci,
do-
non le baronte.
Yeah.
That was not real.
Before you got here, Russell was doing Japanese.
Stop.
Do
There's
But you-
really, that's good. I want
Yeah.
to hear that later.
Yeah.
but you can do. Could you always do impressions? It's an incredible skill. It truly is. If
Did
to
you
me,
do impressions in your like audition?
I did some. I did not really. I mean, the thing with impressions, I feel like, is like I only really want to hear an impression of, I think, for me, like you can do the voice like well, but you really are making them do something they'd never do.
Yeah.
Like really something
Sure.
they'd never do or never say.
Yeah.
Like that's the funniest shit to me is like, you know,
And short.
yeah, short.
Short.
I I think I did. I auditioned twice for the show, but the first time I auditioned, at the first time I did a screen test, I did Austin Butler accepting his Oscar for Elvis, and it was just an Elvis impression. But it was like, this follows. He's just saying you, and then I'll just like thanks for my agent. It's just like a stupid bad Elvis impression. But the thought of it of being like, haha, him accepting his speech like as Elvis is really stupid.
Yeah,
but it was like nothing. And then I did Sydney Sweeney. During that time when there was something about like her family being Trumpers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did something with that. And
what are her hooks for that impression?
It's like, sorry, now I'm not gonna be able to do
That was
it.
great.
It's like, that's like, it's like, like, it's more breathy a little bit. It's like, like I didn't like it's like something kind of breath.
She is like,
I can't forget what I did, but and then I feel like the singing, I never really like thought I was an impressionist person. I just really like voices, and I like accents and voices and things, and singers I always felt very compelled to kind of like emulate them as like a little kid singing of like, trying to get a singer's voice right.
Yeah.
Because that sort of would inevitably help me like figure out how they hit a note a certain way.
Yeah.
Like I would always be like, how the fuck is like Celine Dion hitting those notes?
Sure.
Yeah.
And Titanic.
Yeah.
And I would really go in on like where her placement was.
Yeah.
Like her, it's like her,
Yeah.
or it's like it's like it's the resonance is like in a million different places.
Yeah.
So it's like I really enjoyed finding where those are in the voice. And
Who else I know you
I feel like I'm less good at like hitting the nail on the head with somebody's voice, and
For
more
sure.
just like, how are they doing that? That's cool. I want to try.
So you've done Judy
Yes.
Garland.
Mhm.
Have you done Eliza?
I did. I haven't done Eliza, but I feel like I
Because
like
Liza's one of my favorite. What's your Liza?
well, you remember the video that came out of her in the car where she's like, where they're like, Liza, can you still sing? And she's like,
Oh yeah.
she's like, yeah, still. She's like, what did she say? She's like, can I still sing? No, till I comes in, oh go, oh. And it's just like yelling like in the car, and they're like, can you still sing? And she's like, no. It's like, can I still sing?
Yeah.
No. It's like, it's really quite startling, and I know I'm peaking there. So, but it's like, I'd done a character a long time, like this character called Pepper Slit. That's like, that's very in love with like Liza Minnelli and Elaine Stritch and like all those people. It's
God,
like,
it sounds like me.
it's like a, it's like a fun marriage of that. So I feel like those characters I adore so much that I would love to like emulate them in any kind of way, but it's not like back pocket. I got a Liza back pocket.
Sure.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to exaggerate because like even Elaine Stritch, like here's to the ladies who lunch. It is like a character thing. I don't know how you could exaggerate it even more.
Yeah,
it's
It's
crazy.
just her. I listen to that recording all the time.
The one like from the 70s where
Yes.
she's in the thing.
Yeah, you see the documentary,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Incredible.
one note where she's like,
Rise!
yeah, well, the one where she's like,
Oh.
here's a girl who plays art. Everybody laugh. Everybody. Oh, it's like, here's to the girls who play smart. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
And it's just a straight tone.
Yeah.
And it just like, it just pinpricks you right in the brain
Yeah.
where it's like, everybody dies. It's right.
Well, I said once that I've been going to more theater than I did for a long, long, long time. And like there's very rarely not great singers in musical theater roles. Like Elaine Stritch was not a great singer.
No.
But she could hold that note, and it was so
Moving.
It was so moving, and so like it made musical theater a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Well, because it's
where
like
now
holy
everyone,
shit. Yeah.
you can hear the training.
And their all voices sound the same.
She's
Yeah.
flat
Too,
in the
you know?
company. The opening number. There's some note that they all hold where Elaine is flat as fuck.
Like I do
and
think
it's
of
so good.
I
need
do think
that.
you look at like all the people that are like have such unique voices that came out of the 70s or 80s, like even Bernadette Peters, or like, you know, they have such unique voices. And then now it's like,
Let's see
everyone
Broadway
that-
Divas.
I don't know.
Okay, Bernie, let's see Bernadette Peters one more time.
Oh, what's a good song? She says,
Move on.
the sun comes up. I think about you.
Perfect.
yeah.
Something that's terrible.
You got Patty.
Oh, I used to do this a little bit, like. Just no
Perfect.
words.
Yeah.
Who are the other big divas? Bette Midler.
That one's, I feel like she's got more of a crispier
Yeah.
voice. It's sort of hard.
Ethel.
Yelling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Streisand.
Oh, I mean, wouldn't everybody love if someone had an amazing Streisand? They'd be just a
Yeah.
phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
just like, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's crisp.
It's my walk-on song for stand-up is Don't Rain on My Parade, because it's just so good.
My mom loves Barbara Streisand.
She's
seen her
tough.
live a bunch.
She's every time she says something these days, I go, Jesus Christ. Jesus
You
Christ.
on
Yeah.
you on Ozempic, girl?
Oh my God.
That
was
was
awesome.
So
funny.
it was it Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And she just
crazy.
commented,
Just
you look great,
commented.
Ozempic.
Yeah, or something like that.
Because she meant to do a DM.
Yeah. But also
That's crazy,
That's a
though.
crazy DM. Again, that's
And then
the
she said
that's the you got gray in your beard. Like
yeah.
it's like
but then
it's
she
like
says regards.
I mean-
she says give my regards to Dave or something.
yeah,
in it.
yeah. It's just a funny thing where you're like, I mean, it's so surreal to imagine being Melissa McCarthy and being like getting a DM from.
But maybe at that age and that celebrity, all you do when you talk with friends are like, what are you on right now?
Yeah.
Hey, you look
That's
great. What's
true.
that
That's
injection?
true.
I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that's
You wonder though. Here's another option too.
Mhm.
You wonder if they were talking about it
Oh,
earlier in a message or something. Like maybe she
I'm
said you
thinking
look
about-
great, and then maybe she says something else, and it's just like a response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that was the case, maybe they would have clarified that more. Just both parties would
Well,
have been
did
like,
Melissa
we were
Melissa didn't
messaging
say anything,
already.
did she?
No, she said like I'm so flattered
Yeah.
that she knows who I am. I think that
You
was her
know,
response.
yeah.
Was like I'm so flattered that Barbara Streisand knows.
No,
who I
I
am.
mean it's
I knew
valid.
who you
It's just-
were.
Yeah, you're like,
She's-
it'd be funny if
And
Barbara.
knows who I-
It'd be
yeah,
funny
I
if
don't
Barbara
know.
Streisand was just DMing all like actors of size and being like, what's that? Like everyone in Hollywood
That's
just getting
crazy.
a random text from Barbara Streisand being like, Ozempic?
She just has to know. It's not like it's not even a compliment.
Yeah.
It's not a compliment.
Yeah,
It's not
no.
a diss. It's just
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
Before we go into our next segment, I did want to talk about because Russell is a big New Orleans boy, and your brother plays a band in New Orleans. He's still there
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
He's he lives there. He's in a band called Video Age that tours around. They just had their like national kind of tour for their most recent album that they did.
Mhm.
He's also in another band called The Convenience, which is amazing too, based in New Orleans.
You gonna do a show there on
Yeah.
your tour?
We were thinking about it because, I mean, me and him, we grew up doing music together,
Yeah.
like, and he's definitely like my biggest inspiration in terms of like taste and tone of everything. Like,
Yeah.
he's that big. He's like the big brother that was kind of like, that's cool, that's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
without
yeah.
even explicitly saying that. I was
Yeah.
kind of just like a puppy at his tail, being like, what's cool, what's not, and we thought it would be really cool to do like a double bill of
Yeah.
band and like half hour and
Why do people have some people hear musical comedy or comedy music,
Mhm.
and they roll their eyes.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh my god, what makes for bad? What makes it bad when it's bad?
Musical
Or what do you
comedy?
do to try
Yeah.
to not be bad?"
This is a really good question.
Yeah,
Because
Because
I've
I
thought
have-
about it a lot.
my most cynical when it's at its worst. I go, "This is just mediocre on two fronts at the same time."
Yeah, right. The bad music, bad comedy.
Yeah, or fine.
Yeah.
So, you agree? Sometimes
I-
it is that.
I completely agree. I honestly, like, before this season on the show, I wouldn't say that I often married comedy inside of my music, really. Like,
Yeah.
before that, honestly, like, I did a ton of sketch, I did a ton of improv. And I often, if I would sing something, it was an actual song or something, like inside of a sketch or
Sure.
something. Like
Yeah.
I had that, like I had a kid who was based off of these kids at St. Joe's, like a jock who's
Mhm.
auditioning for the school play.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's this guy who's like, trying to get pussy and then realizes, which is like, this happened all the time when I was there, that he has an angelic voice,
Yeah.
like during like his audition, but like is so fucking like, I don't fucking do it. It's like, yo, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But then would be like, we can build a beautiful city.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we
Wait,
can.
I saw this bit.
Yes, we can. Like just
Yeah.
something like that. And so I find that really funny of like, how do we build in, like, I like scenarios that have music in them a lot.
Yeah.
And they can be really funny to me. And then marrying them a little bit more into like jokes are inside of the tune. Like that was like a real mind fuck to me. Cause I was like, but I like music and I'm a purist of like music has to be good or like don't do
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
And then it was like comedy has to be comedy and it shouldn't just totally rely on just only entertainment value. But then
I also think with like where at least especially with like stand up where the punch has to have some surprise to it to
Yeah.
really make a room full of people laugh.
yeah.
And music can be surprising, but
Yeah.
often it's like, well, the chorus is going this. So there's a degree of like, there's a pattern in music,
Yeah.
and comedy is sometimes breaking a pattern. And so when the two are together, I think sometimes it's like, well, every lyric, the joke is going to
Gonna
be the
come
rhyme
right at the end. Right.
And
you
it
can hear
prevents-
you can almost hear the joke sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like that's something I really stray away from personally. And this is no like dig on anybody who does it, because there are a lot of people that do it really, really well.
Yeah.
Randy Rainbow is a friend of the pod.
Yeah,
Dream
exactly.
guest. Randy Rainbow.
There's so many, yeah. Randy Rainbow.
Randy Rainbow.
But
We're all fans.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I only saw him at Gutenberg in person.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean like
I don't think he's been stumping for Biden as hard as
I'm sure he still is. I'm sure he's doing things.
Sure.
I'd love to see. But I feel like in my like live show that I've been doing this summer a lot, I have been doing a lot more music like embedded into it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the joke is about music. Like I
Sure.
do jokes about music because it comes from so much love of music. Like,
Yeah.
and this is not to be like pompous or whatever, but like sometimes I do like, this is an actual music joke. Like I have a joke or like a bit that I've been working on where it's like, why do all psychedelic rock or like prog rock songs kind of sound like this? And it's like a big strum of a guitar, and I'm like, bloody Satan, all your days of death. Like, and it's like, oh, I'm doing what the music is, and then
Yeah.
it happens to be like,
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
think is funny about it.
For sure. For sure.
I don't know if that was like a really long-winded
No, I think
explanation
no,
of
that-
that,
yeah.
but I also am like, I think that I do love entertainment value so much.
Sure.
Like, when I go to a show, especially like in the shows that I do, I really want people to be excited and entertained from
Yeah.
start to finish. And I'm like well, why wouldn't I use this thing that I know
Right.
and love so
Everyone
much
loves music.
Sure.
Yeah.
as a way to kind of build what all of these other things can like fit inside of. And I've been doing a thing too of like an improvised song where I like state that I was a singer-songwriter for a long time. Would you mind if I like recorded a song here? And it's very real. Like it's like there's like a realness to it of like, all right, and could I get a little inspiration? I'm sort of like shit out of luck of like writer's block, whatever, and I get some inspiration from somebody, and then I try and sing like a song that I just wrote about them, and I try and be as like stupid singer-songwriter as possible, just because I like to nerd out about music things and singing things and like emulating the cheesiness and the whatever. But it's like it's also about a musician. Like it's not just like this is a song about how my rent is too high.
Sure.
Like that's about the joke.
Yeah.
And then it happens to be under music. But I feel like anytime I like go for a music bit, it's because the music itself is funny.
Sure.
Or there's something funny about the scenario having to do with music.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I end up being like the most like excited about. And I feel like the like Little Orphan thing was really built out of my love of like musical theater and like Annie and like a trope of like a kid, an orphan singing about woe is me.
Yeah.
But it's like that's something familiar that people like maybe understand or they've seen before.
Sure.
Of like, oh, it's like this is Annie or something. This is like something like Annie. And yeah, I feel like I like to I don't even know if I'm being like as articulate as like how my mind thinks about it, but it's like whatever the music is, I really hope that it's justified, like on my end.
Sure.
Yeah.
That like I'm not doing it just because I know how to play a piano or something.
Do you ever, as you're doing all this comedy music, is there ever a part of you that goes like, I could just do the music. I could just not have the comedic element, or do you think that's such a part of your DNA? Like sometimes I think even if I went back to musical theater, I haven't had to be that sincere for like a long time.
Yeah.
And music is, I joke when I saw Russell in Titanic, the part that was so uncomfortable was when he sincerely comes out of the beginning and goes like, "We're at the Titanic." Wow.
You
And I'm just like,
you should have seen me at the end of the run, though. I was like, okay.
Where's my lines? Where's my lines? Do you ever see it? Do you ever like go like, oh, what if I could be, I don't know who your like idols are, like an Ernest, like, or just be a musician?
I feel like anytime I do something earnest, it's like you're so close to a joke that I never feel like embarrassed or vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like even with musicians that I just love, they're also really funny, like inherently.
Sure.
And there's always sometimes a little wink there. Like,
Yeah.
especially even if they're playing something like, oh, this is like a really heartfelt tune. It's like the next tune they might get into, like, they're all partying on stage, going crazy and and like being stupid and silly.
Mm.
And there's just, I feel like there's always like a joke around the corner to like relieve an audience, even if it, even if they're like, oh my God, I'm uncomfortable. This is like too real.
Yeah.
I love building up that. And I feel like actually in a lot of the like more long form comedy stuff that I do, I really do build in the kind of earnestness that you think I'm going to really start talking about something very earnest.
I think it's the most fun to do.
And I'm like, having a problem, or I'm talking about something that's really meaningful to me, and then all of a sudden a joke slips out there, but I'm still really just being meaningful and earnest, and then there's a little joke there, and then I'm still, and so then the audience is laughing, but they're also listening, and like
it's fun to trick them. I always love, I try to do it, but I now I'm realizing Joel Kim Booster, when I first started stand-up comedy, I like watched his Conan O'Brien set, which was amazing, but he ends it with a very long kind of emotional thing about his father, and he looks like he's tearing up fully, and then he does the punch, and I'm like, that's beautiful, and and that's where one of the few times where I was like, oh, this is what I can bring to stand-up comedy with an acting background that I couldn't in a different. So it's so fun.
I really think that even if you're doing something, my favorite actors who are really earnest and super genuine, they always have like a twinkle of mischievousness or like a twinkle of I could say anything right now kind of energy. And like a show like Succession or something where they're completely earnest, they're completely genuine. I would be laughing out loud for that show kind of sometimes more often than like a comedy show.
Sure.
Because I'm they're so genuine. They're like so genuine, and it's like super fucking funny. And I feel like I gravitate to that a lot. Maybe, because of like a theater background, of an acting background, of like when you're in play practice and you're like trying to do a really serious scene with someone, you're so quick to be able to laugh if like something goes wrong.
Of course.
Yeah. Like it's so easy to just kind of like unleash that goofy side so quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's so fun to me. And also the laughs are like, it's not like it has to be less funny at all, but it's like you're really giving people a journey.
Sure.
So it's like the laugh feels hotter, or the laugh feels like more like more of like a vomit of like laughing, which I find really fun. Like not teasing, but it's like there is a little bit of like a teasing quality to it.
Yeah. There's like certain like live plays that like that kind of thing where you're like in August of Sage County, where it's very amazing. Funny, and then you're like, when it's like you're like, it's so much enriching and like, oh shit, There's
like a real fun mix of that, and I feel like this is back to the question of like, would you ever do music stuff? Is like some of my favorite music people, like Prince or something, for instance.
Sure.
There's like there can be a lot of like humor in the songs too, like, and not like I'm saying jokes or anything.
Sure.
But there's like a theatricality, like, in like the band like Parliament or something, they'd sometimes come out and play like the hardest funk ever, but like in a giant diaper. And like there's, it's like they are goofy people. They're goofy types of people that know that they're gonna come out and sing a bunch of earnest shit that they have to sing all the time. But they are like, we know that's
we're in on
like we're in on it, and we're ready to laugh whenever you want to laugh too. Like there's all we're as close as you are to like letting go, which there's like a theatricality that I if I ever did like kind of music like that, I feel like it would be like balls to the wall, a little bit more like theatrical.
Well, let's go on to our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop. This is where we say something that needs to end, annoying us, bothering us, big, small, personal, grand. Russell, do you have a this has got to stop?
I have two. Okay, one is this is a phrase.
Remember the thing.
This has got to stop. The phrase screaming, crying, throwing up. Okay. Every once in a while in the zeitgeist, we come across a new phrase like this. And for the first, when it's first used, people are like, oh, I love that. They're genuinely living. But then in 5 years, it's like someone you went to high school with using it, overtaking their kids to see like the Minions. Like, it's just like, like, and then it doesn't mean anything anymore. And then it's just like you're going through Instagram stories and half of them say screaming, crying, throwing up about any news that ever comes out, ever. Do you know? Yeah. And so I don't know. It's that specific phrase right now, but it really is a bigger thing of like anytime those kind of phrases get used, there reaches a point where like we're all gonna just agree like we can't use that anymore. Like we gotta find the new one.
We need a zeitgeist. We need someone, because we need like someone who's I got enough influence that they can be like, guys, this is over.
Yeah.
Because eventually, you know how these things spread. One day my mom will say to me,
screaming,
crying, throwing up. that's when you know it's for me.
That's where we're already at that. I think.
Yeah,
for that
I
phrase.
agree.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody and I couldn't believe it.
They said it out loud.
They totally said that out loud, along with, I would say, the longest slew of meme language I've ever experienced before in my life, where it was like, say that. I'm screaming, crying, and throwing up.
Say
like,
that.
Hats off to that. Like, because why? For why? And like
My brother in Christ.
Yeah, like it's just
my
like
God.
like they're just everything that they responded with was an internet phrase.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, that can't be how your brain actually like constructs meaning in this world.
Yeah.
Is like through other people giving
Sure,
you the
yeah.
language. And it's like, I know what you mean. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But you're not saying it in any way that doesn't
Seeing
feel
a
like
person
false.
say it.
Like it's like there is a huge wall up.
Yeah.
There's a huge wall up. I would love to take that wall down and just have you say the words that come to you after those words. Because those words might be the first words that come to you because you've been reading them on the internet for so much.
Sure.
Take
Was
a
that
second,
person? What age was that person?
Probably
like,
my age.
65. It was Lauren Michaels.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I would be like, I would be screaming, crying, throwing up.
My other one is this guy stop Jimmy Carter's grandson giving us updates on him. You know, I think just let us know the big update. You know, I think
what was the most recent update he gave?
I mean, every so often it's like he's not like today or the other day was like he's not awake some days, and you're like
he's leading you through the decay process,
and it's just one of those sad things where you're like, it's hospice. It's been a year and a half. I think like we're at a point where, and I feel bad because also this is where it's coming from, is that whenever he gives an update, there's a news article with it, and they show a picture of the oldest skeleton you've ever like. It's like person you've ever seen, and it's just this thing where you're like, and then it takes me 3 or 4 minutes to be like, oh, like thinking about hospice and death and like and there's really not much of an update, and so I just think like let's just
I think more updates.
Leave us out of it.
I saw his eyes today, and I could see he knew there was no God.
That is like an incredibly personal experience that I think that the son should just spend with the family.
Yeah, the grandson even.
Like, even though there was so much, the grandson, like, even though there was so much that person maybe did for the nation that the nation wants to hear, actually just reserve.
And I haven't looked into it. I don't know what the grandson does, because maybe he has a job where people are just asking him, and it's not really his main thing, but like he has a job where he's in the limelight.
People want to know how he's doing, so he's got to give updates. My biggest complaint is that literally right after he tweeted about his report about his grandfather, he tweeted, "Sometimes I wash my feet with cum."
Oh my God!
And wait, no, he stole my tweet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my.
Wait,
God.
run that back. Wait, run the tape back. I'm pretty sure I said that in 2022.
He got a lot more likes than you.
Sometimes I get my feet washed with cum. Maybe you were
parallel thinking.
No, it's not.
Parallel thinking.
You really
listen.
Like we can't be. I mean, he's on my internet.
Yeah, he is on. He's on your internet.
That's not a coincidence.
Yeah, anyways, those are mine.
This has got to stop, and it's bigger than it seems. It's very individual. I have a show tonight, and it's like my show, and I gave someone free tickets because I know them from years ago. And now I'm being bombarded with what time does it start? What time do you go on? When does it end?
We all
I can
know
get there
that.
at 8. Is it fine? And it's,
we all know that.
First of all, I'm curious. Has anyone ever on a night of SNL been like, "Hey, do you know what the parking situation is?"
Dude, don't even get me started. That should probably be one of my things.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like the amount of texts that you will get on a Saturday.
It's like 7:45.
It's
like before you do dress rehearsal or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, hey, any chance you have tickets for tonight?
I'm my God!
I'm like, bro, like it gets me lit up like nothing else. And people out of the woodwork where I'm like, my own brother has yet to see the show. Why do you think
That is something I was going to ask about because I'm like, I can't imagine the random messages you must get about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is because you don't even know how to respond on some level. I'm sure you're like,
well, it's on Saturday.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Saturday is the rejoicing celebration of a hard work week.
Yeah.
No, this is the most important day of my work week.
Yeah.
This is the most important day of work that I have. It'd be like somebody like on a big presentation you have like on Friday at work, just for all the people with regular jobs out there.
We're talking like, when you got that big presentation on a Friday for the
Yeah,
big
right.
boss.
You got that Q3 report.
And then it's your
He's got
wife.
pink slips in his pocket. He's throwing them out.
It's your wife nagging you saying, hey, can you let me in the side door? I want to watch. And also, are there drinks in the thing? What should I bring?
Does SNL have
It's
drinks?
It's like, yeah, I love you. I can't wait to see you later. I'm at work. And people just forget that Saturday's work.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's totally work.
We did an improv show 2 years ago. Can I get any tickets? Like that is
Yeah.
so crazy.
It's
People
Yeah.
in theater would always be like, they wouldn't ask for. They'd be like, do you know discount? Like they'd be like, do you got any discounts?
yeah.
And I like, especially when I was doing Gutenberg, I was like, I spent $250 a ticket for my family to come.
Yes.
No, I don't have a discount.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't exist in theater.
Yeah.
That no, you're gonna have to like that's the best you can do or get a
What
rush.
do you get
What do I get?
for comps?
I mean, they're free.
I mean, you could bring.
I mean,
people,
how many people do you get 2 seats per show?
No. I mean, like
Just say it out loud.
the
People are gonna be. I know you get this.
beep this out. No, this is fine, but it's like it's more of like you have to know when to ask and when to not ask and when too much is. So
Of
it's really
course.
not stated. Like it's
Oh,
not like it's
interesting.
not
Oh,
like
I see.
two per dress, 2 per air. It's like, oh, if I ask for 4 tickets this week because I want my parents and my brothers to come, I probably won't ask for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, Lauren, I took improv to a 1 with this guy.
I'm asking my boss for the tickets, who's like
Well,
clearly
Lauren is in charge
not
of the,
involved
the,
with
the,
like the paper
comps.
tickets going to people, like the email of like where to enter on 49th Street. Like, yeah, no, it's a bunch of lovely young women that I badger and I say, hey, what's it look like this week? And they're like, totally no. Or
They're
totally
like,
yes.
your mom can come for the Mother's Day episode. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, they're never like no, but they're sometimes like, dude, I'm so sorry, but
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
crazy, and I'm like the bottom of the totem pole, so it's like, I'm sure other people can be like, I'm getting my real estate broker in today,
Yeah,
and it's like
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
not there yet, where it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't filled in like the top tier of people in my life getting in.
Yeah.
That even if it's somebody, and I have gotten people into the show, like a bunch this year, but like if it's somebody that I'm like, they do deserve a ticket at some point, I might be like, not yet,
Of course.
but I
But-
probably could push, but I don't want to push too hard every time.
Totally.
I
It's
don't
more just one of those
deserve
things. It's like if unless it's got to be your best bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a
In my
handful
mind-
of friends that I'm like,
Yeah. In my mind, it's like I would never think to be. I would be like, I'll wait for them to say I can come. You know what I mean? Like in my mind,
I
of
always
like,
I had that because I had friends on the show before I got on.
Yeah.
And I never asked because I was like, if I talked about like a music person that I really liked or whatever, and then they'd text me like, oh, they're coming
Yeah.
December 12th or something, I'd be like, please, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But I was too nervous even to ask like some of my closest friends there because
Sure.
I was like, I just assume that they have so many aunts, so many uncles,
Yeah.
so many
parents,
dogs,
siblings,
cats, whatever
yeah.
they want to bring.
Yeah. One time I went to a dress rehearsal and it was funny because we got it through Nicole and her, because she was friends with someone that worked at NBC. They don't anymore, but their name was Lauren Michaels. It was
Oh.
a female. So when we had to like give our name to the thing, she's like, they're like, and who set this up? And Nicole was like, Lauren Michaels, and they were all like And then she's like, they were like,
bring it to the front.
Yeah.
Front row.
Yeah.
and then we really had to clarify. No, Lauren, a female.
Lauren.
Lauren Michaels.
Like people were all
But,
Ralph
yeah,
Lauren.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. It was wild to see the set stuff. It's very impressive.
How small it is in there.
Well, just how fast everything moves. The dressers. That was like the craziest thing.
Fall like on my ass a lot because there's like it's very tight squeeze and it's like it's so theater. It's so much like theater. It's like they're bringing the set around and they're turning it and then they're setting up all the tables and stuff. I have to go run to quick change or something. There's enormous cables, like thicker cables than like boa constrictors. Like, why is that my size reference?
No,
if anybody's seen one
sense.
of those, but it's like there's really thick cables and I'm running and they put me in like heels for something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm like hip check somebody sitting in one of the seats there. And I'm like, sorry. And it's just like, it happens a lot. And there's no like,
it's like that's Keenan's real estate agent. Careful.
there's also no like, it's not like there's a safety person being like, only exit through here, exit here. It's like, get out as soon as you can. Because this is live and we're not waiting for you. So it's like, get out of the way as soon as you can.
Sure.
And so there's been lots of fall. There's always lots of falls, lots of tripping, lots of all
totally.
the time.
Did you ever this gotta stop?
I actually do. I've thought about one.
Great.
On my way here, I've been seeing this a lot. What's the thing that's like 7 for all souls or something written on the ground? It's this person that's been I guess been doing it for a while, but it's like quotes in white chalk.
Oh my God.
On the sidewalk. That's like, are we gonna fall in love this year? 7 for all souls, like something like that.
And what is 7 for all souls?
I don't know if I'm getting the name of
just
that
plugging
right,
it.
but it's like it's so melodramatic and Tumblr. Like it's so Tumblr. It hurts me. It's like somebody would probably take a photo of the thing on with their shoes like this and be like, my day in New York. Yeah. And I'm like, this can there's no room for you here in the city.
I'm gonna look for it now.
We're stepping and stomping all over it. And no, we're not gonna fall in love this summer.
No chance.
I don't think so.
It's too darn hot.
It's too darn hot.
I feel like I don't want that kind of sincerity on my sidewalk.
Agreed.
Not on my sidewalk.
Not on my sidewalk.
Let's go to our final segment.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessing. We can say something we're thankful for. Specific. Your mouth is open. I'll go first unless you want to go.
I don't want to go first. I'm listening to the track.
Oh yes, that's Douglas Goodhart.
Douglas Goodhart from Uncle Function.
He'll be on an episode very soon. My blessing. Sometimes after shows, I'm still at the merch table. It's tough. It can be a lot, but I love
merch.
Just like 2 shows, and in the between shows, you're just taking pictures.
You're hawking.
But I want to be there because I'm grateful and blah blah blah. I really do like when I see a couple that is they're gonna break up, and you can feel it. And you can feel it in the level of anger, usually of the woman getting mad at the boyfriend for not being able to figure out the camera fast enough on the phone. There is sometimes I can feel this like, I'm like, oh, you are mad about way more than the phone camera right now. And just a real like, you imbecile. Can't even get the fucking phone to work. And the blessing part of it is that I get to watch it and I go like, wow, my girlfriend and I were in a good place.
Yeah.
We can take a picture without too much fighting.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. Couples come in. Some couples, one guy, he said, hey, take a picture of us. Part of last together. We just broke up. And I'm like, why do we do this for the crowd work part of the show? We're doing this after someone get a camera. But you really get to see people. A brief little window.
I saw like a sad fight on the like a quiet, sad crying fight on the train the other day, like drunken. They were drunk.
Why didn't you say hi to us?
And it was
I
like
thought you guys were doing okay.
It was like
better than that one couple, but you know.
It was like no one was on the train, so it was like me and this couple, and then there were other people further down. And the only part I heard from it, because they were kind of whispering, and like she was crying, and he was like really upset. And the only part I heard from it was this: she goes, because that's my trauma. And he goes, but we were talking about my trauma.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
like, wow.
That honestly, that encapsulates all fights if you really think about it. But that's my trauma. We were talking about my trauma.
This is I want to
Beautiful. Put it in a play.
wait. Can I want to double back on the last segment and
Yeah.
say, cut it out with the therapy speech.
I know.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me.
It's too much.
Speak to me. Speak to me.
Well, I think it's also like the always like, well, I don't want to say, well, I don't want to phrase it this way, or you're not supposed to put it like this. It's like sometimes you just gotta fucking tell someone how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And therapy speech, and like I'm not like complaining about PC, but it's just like we're speaking the right way, and you don't ever say the thing you're actually upset about.
Yeah.
It's just intellectualizing it, and it's like it's so weird when people are like, well, that's my boundary, and it's like, no, that's you being a full-on cockhead dick person. This is not talking about anybody specifically, but it's like
Feels like it. Feels like it.
Yeah.
it's like it's just insane what people will call like gaslighting, what people
I
will call
know. Yeah.
boundaries, what people will call trauma.
Yeah.
They're like, well, my trauma is that I've always been very dehydrated.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like,
like my parents got divorced when I was a kid. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like they really can't. Somebody.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
What's up with that? Do you have a blessing?
I do. Weird week. Well, this is not the blessing part. A sad week. A cousin passed away. But
God, I'm so sorry.
so I feel really bad for members of my family who, you know, it was sudden and unexpected and horrible. And I'm my two cousins who are the siblings. It's been a long time since I've they've always been there for me, and I just feel bad for them. And they were like sisters to me kind of growing up. And I am thankful that they're a part of my life and so close. And I'm also thankful for you, because we were supposed to do something the other day, and you were very sensitive and thoughtful about letting me not do that. I was just in a very weird headspace, obviously, when I found out. So I don't know. I'm
Well,
kind of rambling. I'm having a hard time talking about. I'm also not wanting to
Of course.
share
Dive
too
in.
much.
But it's just it's just that stage of life. And you were saying your father is one of 12. And you think about just like, there's just life. There's so much life to deal.
There's so much
deal
life
with
in
it.
that like family of being one of 12. So you're constantly kind of being like, oh, that's happening through this person's going through this thing, and this person's, and so you're like,
There's always something.
it can
happening.
be, yeah. But you know,
We love you, buddy.
love you. Thank you.
Top that.
No, don't.
I just want to
I
say
got two cuts.
I'm actually really grateful that you said that. No, my family's really big on my dad's side too, and it's totally like every day of the year is like it's someone's birthday, it's someone's anniversary, it's someone going through something. And it makes you really be like, wow, there's always somebody else's life that I actually can look at instead of mine, to be like,
Yeah.
hey, get out of yourself and like
Yeah.
go walk over and talk to them, because they're part of your family, and they really care about you and you care about them, and actually might also side effect help you get out of your own.
Yeah.
If you really want to cheer him up, why don't you give him some tickets to SNL?
Yeah.
Hey.
Some July tickets to SNL.
So it's a rerun, and it's just it's
You can
no one's
catch that on
there.
Peacock.
No one's there, but I can get you a tour.
So this is coming out, as I said, July 2nd. Where can people find you?
They can find me at that time, probably doing some of my shows on
Sure.
tour.
I mean, online.
Oh, sorry.
But whatever you
It's
like.
you can catch me. You can catch me on my Instagram,
Great.
Chloe Troast. And
do you
my
want people
TikTok.
looking up these videos from your mom, or do you never want them to see the light of day?
Go for it. There's some gems in there, and I'm so when I was closer in age to it, I was mortified, but now I'm like, oh my god, that was 10 years
It's
ago.
so
like
cool.
it's just cute. Like now it's just home videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free. YouTube, my mom. Joni Troast. Yeah.
And then when is SNL back?
In September, I think.
Check
Yeah,
out SNL.
I think.
Check it out.
Check out SNL if you haven't
Yeah.
ever heard of it.
SNL.
Yeah, it's a sketch acting show.
Sunday Night Live. What do you have for people to find you?
At Russell J. Daniels on Instagram. And then come to our live tour, The Downside. July 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th.
Yeah. What are
Those
the
4
cities?
nights. The city's not in order.
Go for it in order.
I'm not there yet.
DC,
DC,
Boston.
Boston.
Oh,
DC, Boston.
Think about
Philly.
it geographically. Oh, it's not. It's
DC.
actually.
Yeah, we tried.
DC,
but,
Boston,
we weren't able to get
Philly,
all the dates
New
that we
York.
wanted.
Oh shit.
DC.
I would love for it to be like a line.
Yeah.
But that's what you can tell, guys. If you really want to know where someone's career is at, look at their travel schedule. And the
Does it
longer
make
the lines
sense?
are between dates, that's the more they couldn't get what they
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great.
gonna
And tell
be
your friends,
amazing.
again, I know a lot of you, you're right. You say, Dublin? Let me tell you, maybe one day. But
We'd love
there
to
is
go to
the
Dublin.
first step in the many steps it would take for us to get to Dublin
Is
or
Philly.
Is Philly being sold out?
Yeah.
Well, Philly, I would say, isn't too dissimilar from Dublin.
Yeah.
but the travel
Irish
is different.
people. Yeah, we just mean getting Russell there.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have a passport?
No, I think
more money.
making it financially
We're just trying-
make it
I'm
make
kidding.
sense. Yeah,
In
yeah.
theory, we could go anywhere.
We could go anywhere, and we will.
Are you gonna go to the Tonys?
No, I'm not invited.
Fuck them.
No, but he's allowed to go to the dress rehearsal earlier.
Yeah.
A rerun.
Understudy
wait.
joke. Me, guys, I'm going to be in Syracuse July 17th.
Oh, I'll be there too.
You'll be there too? You want to do some time on the show?
No,
Please. Maybe.
maybe.
Maybe. We got my show, Theater Adult. I am interviewing Natalie Walker at Caveat July 7th, and she's going to sing, and we're going to talk all about her theater adults and the terrible off-Broadway play we did together.
Oh, that sounds fun. I want to come to that.
Hey, come. I'll you know what? You can have a cup.
Wow.
And then July 28th, I will be in LA at the Elysian Theater. Robbie Hoffman and Joel Kim Booster are my guests. That's the
Oh,
silver lining. That's
that's
my new
fun.
material. Very good lineup. And then I go to Australia. And we just added a second show to Melbourne.
Wait.
Second show to Sydney.
That's incredible.
Thank you. You hear that, guys? You better fucking be there. Brisbane, Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, and Auckland. Get those tickets now because most of them are going to sell out. And yeah, guys, just remember if your feet are hurting, just wash them with cum.
Oh,
That's the quote, right?
yeah, that is the quote.
This is you said, oh, like I was totally out of left field, just out of nowhere. Everyone's
Whoa.
uncomfortable.
Whoa.
This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.